All right, YouTube, my name's Ryan, and this is going to be my first video. Unfortunately, it's going to be about an injury. I ruptured my patellar tendon going on a month ago. Actually today is 3 weeks from surgery. So I'm going to give you a little rundown of the injury, the time frame leading up to the surgery, and then from the surgery to now. Going forward, I'm going to try to update, once a week or so, let you know where I'm at with my recovery, maybe giving some ideas on how things you could do to improve your recovery. I also, unfortunately, assume that if you found this video, you might be in the same situation as me, having a ruptured patellar tendon. So, about a month ago, on a Wednesday night, I went to drop my kid off at basketball. I went in a little bit early. I was doing some jumping. I'm pretty active. I've always been into jumping. I was doing some dunks. I dunked it a couple times. I was super proud of myself, feeling good. Went for a couple more. Went to jump, and just as I was leaving the ground, felt my knee pop, went into the air, landed on my back. Knew something was wrong right away. Looked down. My knee was slightly bent. I saw that where my kneecap normally is, it was concave, essentially. The skin was pulled in. My kneecap would have been up here, just up here. Immediately knew I'd ruptured my patellar tendon. Pushed my leg straight, was kind of a little bit freaked out, taking some deep breaths. Within probably 30 seconds or a minute, I'd taken some deep breaths. I'd realized, hey, I'm really not in pain. Like I know what I've done, or hopefully I know that's the only thing I've done. But I wasn't in pain, so I got myself together, made a phone call. I had my sister come pick me up, had some friends help me get out the door, went to the emergency department, was hoping to get an MRI. They didn't do an MRI, but they did an X-ray. X-ray must have showed I'd had a fracture on my patella as well. They didn't really do much. I almost really didn't even feel where my patellar tendon is or anything. They just kind of said, okay, well, all we know is you've got a knee injury. You look like you have a fractured patellar. Sent me out the door with a knee immobilizer and some crutches, with the plan to follow up with an orthopedic surgeon. So that was in the evening, pretty late. So by morning, I called the orthopedic surgeon that they recommended to me. Wasn't going to be able to get in a timely manner. So decided to go with another surgeon that came recommended. Following morning, on a Friday morning, went in to see that surgeon. He assessed it, did an ultrasound, determined that I had in fact ruptured my patellar tendon. He didn't think that I would be able to get an MRI in a reasonable time frame. He thought it would take 2 to 3 weeks, but didn't think it would be worth waiting because I would need surgery as soon as possible. So I decided that was a good idea. We scheduled surgery for a week from that day, so about 9 days after the injury. Between then and the time I had surgery, my wife had contacted a guy who we knew in an area we used to live who was an orthopedic surgeon, and he basically said the same thing. He said, you know what, if you can't get an MRI, you've got ultrasound, you can just do the surgery. You need the surgery more than anything. So I did that. The surgeon that I met with, his plan was, since we couldn't do the MRI, he was going to have a look around when he was in there just to make sure I didn't have any other damage. I could have torn anything else. And that seemed good enough for me. So now I'm waiting around for a week. That's, if you've done it, that's a week where you literally can't do anything. Getting up to go to the bathroom, taking a shower, doing any of those things is a real struggle. There's a lot of sitting around wondering what's going to happen. I personally am terrified of surgery. I'd never had it before. So a long week. The one positive note is I had talked to a guy I knew who's early 60s, had this injury before about 30 years ago. He said it took him about a year to recover, but he'd not had any problems since, and he's an extremely active guy, played basketball, now rides dirt bikes, does all sorts of stuff. So that was positive. That made me comfortable. So a week later, on a Friday morning, so 3 weeks ago today, I go in for surgery. Everything went smooth as best I know. I come out of surgery. I'm in a little bit of pain when I go home, but tolerable. They give me some pain medication. They gave me a new knee immobilizer with the instructions to keep my knee straight, to not move it for 2 weeks. At which point, then I'd follow up with the doctor and go from there. So, first couple days you're in pain. The day after surgery, when the nerve block wears off, I was in a ton of pain. Fortunately, that only lasted for a couple days. Within 2.5 days, I was able to get off the pain meds. I was strictly on ibuprofen and Tylenol, which I took for about 2 more days. And then at that point, the pain was gone. As far as if I was, immobile, if I was laying in bed, if I was sitting somewhere I could sit with my leg up, it'd be really painful for me to sit with it down. So there was some limitations. So first week after surgery, you're really just trying to get out of pain, get comfortable, figure out how you can do some of the things you need to do, which are very difficult. You're not really able to do exercises or anything like that, and really you don't want to. You just don't feel like it. At least I didn't. Some people might. About a week after surgery, I was able to not do much, but I could roll off this, I have a mattress. I was laying on the floor. I was able to roll over off the side of that, hit some push-ups, sit on the arm of a couch that I've got with some dumbbells and do some upper body work, but you really can't do anything with your leg, and I was instructed not to, so I didn't. So, but by the second week, for me, I'm on crutches. I'm moving around pretty well. I can put weight on it at that point. It's not really comfortable to walk. I could walk a few steps, but it's uncomfortable. So that's the second week. At the 2-week mark, I go back to the doctors. I'm feeling quite a bit better, really. They give you this brace, which is a hinged brace. They take my sutures out. They give you the instructions on the brace. You can walk, keep the brace straight when you walk. When you're sitting down, we want you to actively try to stretch your leg out. So they said don't go any more than 70 degrees, which at that point I'm nowhere near 70 degrees. I'm probably 10 to 15 degrees the day they give me the brace. That's a week ago today. I'm up to probably 40 to 45 degrees, so that's a lot. I feel like in a week. I'm trying not to overdo it, but I also want to progress. So I'm stretching it, I'm moving, I'm walking. That's great. Unfortunately, I would say, and it's getting better in the last day or two, but I would say up until a couple days ago, if I got up and walked somewhere, or even if I went out somewhere and sat with it hanging down like this, it would just swell up. Then my leg would swell up and it'd be real tight from that. And so that's improving, but you're limited even by that, I would say, in the 3rd week. That's improved today. I do have some strength in my leg. I know a lot of people that when I went in, they said, in addition to the range of motion, they want you to focus on being able to contract your quads. I can contract my quad. I know that a lot of people have trouble raising their leg. I can do that. That's not an issue. That's great. I'm excited about that. I can put some bend in this thing here. I can bend it some. I can even flex my quad in that motion. So I feel like at 3 weeks I'm making pretty decent progress. If you're watching this at home, you may have had a similar situation. You might be exactly where I'm at. You might be ahead of me. You might be behind me. Those are okay. That's fine. I'm just trying to do what they tell me to do, so I'm trying not to overdo it because I do like to exercise and be active. So for me, the hardest thing is to pull back. So plan going forward is, my goal is to increase the range of motion to at least 70 degrees by the time I go back and visit. I'm hoping when I go to see the doctor, they're going to either do away with this brace or just let me open it up and actually use it. I'm not going to put a bunch of weight on it, doing any kind of squatting type motion until they say, yeah, no, you're good to put weight on it. I do have some exercises I plan on doing. I'll make some videos of those. I am actually in sort of my home gym at the moment. Sort of a backstory. I'm in the process of trying to build a house. This obviously puts a damper on that because I'm physically building it myself. But I've got the foundation poured. I've not done anything else. So I'm now planning on starting framing in maybe just under a year from now. So with any luck, I'm recovered quite well at that point and able to move on. Prior to this, though, I had moved onto my property where I'm building my house. I had built a shop, which a portion of is is sectioned off as a home gym. So I'm working on putting a home gym together. I have very few things at the moment, but I will be adding to it, and I'll be making videos and hopefully showing, I guess, sort of the progression of my home gym, as well as some of the equipment I use to try to recover from this. And then with any luck, I'll get to the point where I'm not just showing recovering from this, but then actively going and doing the things that I like to do. So if that's something you're interested in, awesome. Maybe subscribe, watch the videos. I will try to put something out every week, maybe more often going forward. And I hope that I can help someone else who's in this situation that I'm in.